Welcome to VoteProPot-Cast, the award-winning cannabis news podcast brought to you by VoteProPot.com. Here are your hosts, Phil Adams, Jay Britton, and Andrew McCreadies.
Willie Nelson says he's giving up marijuana, or has given it up. North Dakota approves pardons for 26 people with weed convictions. And 6 more states are now pushing hard for adult use. We have these items and so much more today on VoteProPot-Cast. Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining us. The eating season is now officially underway. We've got Thanksgiving behind us and Christmas, New Year's, Super Bowl, all ahead of us. Big eating holidays, isn't that right?
Yeah, man. And some special stuff coming up on VotePro-Podcast, right?
That's right.
I started my Christmas shopping today.
Okay.
Yeah. The dispensary?
At the dispensary, yeah. They had like a little... I didn't buy any regulated product.
Well, you know, Andrew, those VotePro-Podcast coffee mugs make a great Christmas gift.
True.
Yeah, but speaking of which, I need more of those because I already gave my cat... I gave me 6 of them, and I'm down to 1.
All right.
Would you break them all, or...?
Well, no, I gave some to, I gave one to my sister and my brother, and then I gave one to one of my favorite bud tenders.
See, my sister and brother bought theirs. Just saying.
Yeah, they're true believers, right? Investing in the cult.
Or
I like it.
Or true chumps, either one. So we're going to start off today. Andrew's got an update from a couple of states in the Midwest. What do you have for us?
That's right. 2 Midwestern states are breaking into the recreational marijuana market. That's right. This past Sunday, Michigan opened up. I know I saw online people had been camped out overnight.
Yeah.
You know, I'm thinking, I like getting high, but camping out overnight just to get...
First comes Black Friday, then Green Monday.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't get that inline
no,
shit.
it's Green Sunday is what it was.
Sunday, okay.
So, and Illinois just started, and Illinois is going to start its recreational sales. The dispensaries will be opening up on New Year's Day. So that's a good way to start the year.
Yeah, right on.
Yeah, so these states are the 10th and 11th states nationwide to allow for recreational marijuana sales. And now 33 states allow medical marijuana use, and which Michigan legalized medical back in 2008, and followed by Illinois legalized in their medical in 2013. So, welcome to the 21st century, guys.
Welcome to the club.
You know,
welcome to
it looks
the
like
club.
the East Coast, man. We got to start getting our shit together.
Yeah.
Catch up. Midwest,
I
West
say
Coast.
welcome to the club. We're in Maryland, and we're behind the club.
Yeah,
so.
we got medical, and we got cards, so I'm pacified for the time. But I'm
legal. I don't know about the rest of y'all.
I got certified number a year ago in 2 days. So I went by the dispensary today, and they said your permit, not my card, but the registration is going to run out in 2 days. I have to go back to the Canada doctor and get my prescription renewed.
That's right.
Pay the nice man $200.
Yeah, that's right. It's they're practicing medicine.
I guess.
This is a medication. It was what we're using it for, after all. Isn't that right, Andrew?
Yeah. Well, I want to go in there and tell them I'm a veteran of the war against marijuana.
There you go.
See if that gives me I never wore a uniform.
Oh, shit. You got a Purple Heart for that.
Your uniform was a tie-dye shirt and a band.
Did I ever tell you guys I tried to join the Army and they wouldn't let me?
No.
What? No.
Yeah, man. I went to the recruiters. Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
What was their excuse?
My mom took me in, yeah.
Why would they let
I
you?
was only 6 years old.
Okay. Yeah.
The beard threw them off, I think.
The beard threw Hey, he was in my 6th grade class and he had a beard, man. I'm telling you.
That was the year before I started shaving. Yeah, no, but no, I was into it. I had my own little army outfit and little toy cap gun. You know, my mother. I wanted to join the army, so my mother took me by the recruiters.
That's funny. That's cool.
And, my mom was like a really attractive woman, and so I could see those guys come right this way, lady.
Right here, lady. I
can remember they took me into like the commanding officer's office and shit. And I sat there, attention, saluted the guy, man.
Oh, that's awesome.
I had a uniform. Man.
Are there any pictures of that?
No, I don't.
In an old photo album somewhere?
No,
That'd be funny.
but you didn't have a phone on. You didn't have a phone or a camera on you back then.
In those days, right?
Yeah, and then I got older and I decided,
Wasn't for you, huh? Didn't like
Wasn't for
really
me.
taking directions so much.
Didn't feel like working for that company.
Well, then the whole Vietnam War happened. It sort of soured me on the whole military thing.
Yeah, that soured a lot of people. Well, I got a segue here, guys. You want me to segue?
Seg the fuck way, man.
All right. Andrew was telling us about Michigan and Illinois. I've got a story here out of the Motley Fool website we love about investing.
Good site.
I don't know if you've noticed, Phil, you follow Motley Fool. They cover a lot of cannabis stuff. So these guys are really into
They're on top of it.
Cannabis segment. They really are. So they've got a story in the...
What's that guy's name that does it?
Well, this is Sean Williams who wrote this article, but there's two brothers, and I can't remember their name.
Motley Fool
Didn't
and Forbes.
one of them date Pam Anderson?
Right.
Didn't one of them date Pam Anderson?
Really?
Oh, that was Motley Crue.
Who did
that was
Motley
Crue? Never mind.
Yeah, you got that a little confused.
Different Motley.
I get that mixed up a lot.
They're much motlier.
Did you ever see that movie they made, that X-rated thing that got released that he and her made? Was them fucking around? And...
No.
Okay.
Pamela and the Python?
Yeah, that was pretty funny. He's driving his SUV with his wiener, man.
Oh, the guy's packing some heat. He's got like a third arm.
That dude has a third arm, is right.
His penis is so big it has an elbow.
Anyway, let's get back to
so big it's got a zip code.
Thank you for joining us for Vote Pro Podcast. If you enjoy the show, we'd love to hear from you. Send us your thoughts at VoteProPot.com/contact or send us an email at podcast@VoteProPot.com, and please give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts. If you'd like to be part of the show, call our message line at 240-257-2441. Tell your friends about us and be sure to like, follow and share us on social media. Just go to Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn and Twitter and do a search for Vote Pro Pot. Now, back to the boys.
All right. So anyway, this article in Motley Fool is about the upcoming 2020 elections. And the 2020 obviously is a major election. It's a presidential election. And there are 6 states which are currently trying to get the recreational marijuana initiatives or amendments on their ballots. Understandably, these initiatives and amendments are in the review process or signature gathering process, but there's a very good likelihood these 6 states will have it on the ballot come next November. Those 6 states in alphabetical order are, number 1, Arizona. Woo-hoo. Arizona is arguably the state that's most likely to pass recreational use in 2020. The Grand Canyon state tried to pass a recreational marijuana initiative in 2016, with voters narrowly disapproving of the measurement.
Yeah, there's some anti-marijuana people that dumped a ton of money into
Arizona?
fight that initiative.
Yeah.
Last time around, but you know, as we've seen it with other states, California, Oregon, I believe Washington as well, most of those failed first time through with their initiatives, and then they passed the second time through. So the likelihood, the money is on, it's going to pass.
Another problem, like with California, the first time they voted for recreational, it was shitty legislation.
True.
And all these pro-cannabis people were saying, don't vote for this, man. This is bad news. And same thing happened in
and
Ohio
if you don't have
with
the
their medical.
pro-cannabis folks on your side,
right,
forget it.
But they spent a lot of time writing up these regs or this legislation, and it's, from what I'm reading, it's pretty good. It's 18 and over. The taxes collected on legal cannabis would be used to fund schools as well as help bolster the financing of state health care programs. And similar to Illinois, it would be used to help relieve persons previously convicted of marijuana offenses.
See, I'm rethinking that, man. You know, why should we waste all that money on schools?
Yeah, really.
I think we should build, stadiums or something. You know,
really. All right, second state is Arkansas. In Arkansas, there are actually 3 initiatives, constitutional amendments in the signature gathering stage right now. So nobody's really sure which one will end up.
So these are kind of competing measures?
They are to some degree, and they're all being negotiated, left and right. It's possible one would be on the ballot. It's possible more than one. You may have the option as a voter to vote for one of 3. So
we have to follow that.
Yeah, we will definitely have to file it. But both Arkansas marijuana legislation initiatives and Arkansas recreational marijuana initiative would legalize adult use for those over 21. Unlike Arizona, Arkansas will likely be a longer shot to a green light for recreational weed. Even though support has been growing nationally for adult use, Arkansas has not been, their polls have not been in the 65%, 50% range like so many other places. So it's kind of a long shot. Arkansas had to wait well over 2 years after approving a medical cannabis measure in November of 2016 before medical weed sales commenced. This is also a state that tends to lean towards Republican lawmakers, and Republicans, as we know, are typically less likely. So
douchebags. Arkansas
is considered to be somewhat of a long shot, but a possibility. You know, a lot of states surprise us. They go in their red state, and the voters say, you know, hey, I'm voting for my Republican congressperson or senator, but guess what? I'm voting for this. You know, that's very common.
Oklahoma.
So that could very well happen.
Great example.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. We're starting to see all these states that we thought would never, ever, you know, legalize, and now they're all surprising. It's like Oklahoma is a
perfect example.
It's a perfect example.
All right, our third one on the list is Florida. Obviously, Florida has a pretty darn good medical setup right now. The Sunshine State has a number of initiated constitutional amendments that are in the signature gathering stage to either amend the state's medical marijuana program or legalize recreational cannabis. Okay. For example, the Florida Marijuana Legalization Initiative would greenlight the possession of up to 1 ounce of cannabis by residents 21 and up. There would also be a homegrown option allowing for up to 6 plants per household.
There you go.
With no more than 3 flowering ounce. These plants would also need to be in an enclosed and locked space and could not be sold. So I feel pretty good about Florida. I think there's a really good chance Florida will go.
I do.
Yeah. Number 4 is Missouri. So here's another state. Yes, here's another red state. There we go. Yet another initiated constitutional amendment comes to us from Missouri. Currently, in the signature gathering phase, a Missouri Marijuana Legalization and Expungement Initiative would alter the state's constitution to no longer make it legal to use, grow, or sell cannabis at the commercial level. It would also throw out previous convictions for nonviolent marijuana offenses, similar to that that Illinois did. Illinois. Interestingly, the bill would also prohibit the taxation of physician-recommended medical marijuana. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
So if a doctor writes your prescription, you don't pay tax on it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like that.
Like Arkansas, the one complication here is that Missourians only legalized medical marijuana by vote 1 year ago, and the product only became available in licensed dispensaries in recent months. With little lead time to build up to the appropriate sales infrastructure, it's unclear what sort of support the recreational marijuana measure would generate in the show-me state. So there's not a lot of confidence this one will make it either.
Okay. Well, we'll hope for the best.
2 more. Number 5, we've talked about plenty here, and that's New Jersey. They've been diddly fucking around with this for 2 years now.
Too long.
So the Garden State actually looked to be well on its way to legalize recreational marijuana at the legislative level earlier this year, but efforts to wave the green flag eventually fell apart before reaching the finish line. So, they have a Democratic governor who is pro.
Reagan bastards.
I think most people are confident that Jersey's finally going to get it through. The New Jersey Marijuana Legalization Amendment is a legislatively referred constitutional amendment to legalize recreational weed. It can find its way onto the ballot through a 60% vote from both chambers of the state legislature during a single session, or a majority vote in both chambers during 2 successive sessions. Is that confusing enough for you?
No, I mean, it's a kind of a bumpy ride, but you say confidence is high?
I think so, yeah. Because I think the citizens are sick of fucking around with it,
So they're going to legalize in New Jersey, but they're just not going to make it easy.
That's exactly. That's what it boils down to.
Well, it's New Jersey. What do you expect?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I would have expected a little bit more smooth sailing, more like Boston or New York, or Massachusetts or New York by now.
I wonder what Tony Soprano would think about it.
I don't think he'd like it one fucking bit.
All right, I got one more on my list. We know this state, guys. The number 6 is South Dakota.
South Dakota.
The one state that's never downloaded out of tens of thousands of downloads for Vote Pro Podcast. We haven't had a freaking single download from South Dakota.
Yeah.
They don't have the internet up there, do they?
That could be it. Last but not least, the South Dakota Marijuana and Hemp Initiative is an initiated constitutional amendment that's currently gathering signatures. If passed, the measure would legalize the possession, use, transport, and sale of adult use cannabis for persons 21 and up. South Dakota's Department of Revenue would be responsible for issuing all licenses for cultivation, testing, distribution, and retail with a 15% tax rate applied to legal weed sales. Yeah. This tax revenue would go to cover the costs associated with cannabis industry governance, with the remainder headed to the state schools and the general fund. General fund, imagine that, Phil.
It's all going to the general fund.
It's all getting flushed.
They're going to the schools bullshit. It's South Dakota. South Dakota, don't bother. All right, it's crap legislation. Don't waste your time.
It's worth pointing out that South Dakota is the only one of these 6 states that hasn't passed medical marijuana legislation. So this initiative would also require the state legislature to establish medical cannabis laws, as well as pass laws concerning the cultivation, processing, and sale of hemp. So I think this one's a pretty long shot.
So theoretically, they could pass adult use before medical?
I guess.
Fun if you want to have fun, but don't touch it if you're sick.
Yeah.
I would be shocked to see South Dakota.
That would cover medical, wouldn't it? Adult use, wouldn't it cover medical? I mean, if you've got
anything you want,
anything you want, right?
Yeah.
And
still a need for a medical program. Especially, I saw this interview recently with a doctor from Canada.
Yeah. Well, that would require a separate.
And he was saying, I don't have to worry about any of my patients coming in just trying to get a card for marijuana because they just want to get high. Just go to the store and buy it because it's recreational legal, nationally. So he goes, but he's still real busy, and a lot of people come in, and a lot of the people who go to get medical marijuana, the first thing they say is, "I don't want to get high."
Yeah, I believe that.
I may have said that. I want to get high now.
How long that lasts, Phil? How's that working out for
you? All right. So anyway,
you know what the thing about getting high is? It's fun.
That's the other thing is there's your 6 states.
But we digress. Well, South Dakota, though, I mean, really, how hard should it be, to get a majority there? What are we talking about? 300-400 people?
Come on, you're knocking on our South Dakota now because they don't listen to VoteProPot-Cast. Yeah, fuck them. That's what I say. Anyway, so those of you in Arizona, Arkansas, Florida, Missouri, New Jersey, South Dakota, get out there.
Make some noise.
Well, from there, we go from South Dakota to North Dakota. It's South Dakota's neighbor to the, what? North, I'm guessing, right?
Good guess. Yeah, probably.
They are doing what some of these, like the Florida legislation and some of the others, and I think the Arizona one, Arkansas one does, is the E part of the Moore legislation, expungement, which is, to me, critically important. Expungement and home grow. This is more about the expungement part. This is an article from High Times. North Dakota Advisory Board approves pardons of 26 people with cannabis convictions. Now, again, there's not a whole lot of people in North Dakota, but 26 is not a lot of people, but it's a start. The Pardon Advisory Board up in Bismarck took a look at some of the criminal records for 26 people with low-level convictions, basically, straight possession, simple possession, and, first offenses and that sort of thing. And they're taking a look at wiping those records clean. Which would, fix problems that these records have caused for people trying to find jobs, housing, get credit, and the like. And apparently it didn't really take a whole lot of effort. The article says, with little discussion, the 5-member panel approved the pardons in a single motion, all at once, instead of 26 individual ones. The list of people, and they've stayed out of trouble for a certain period of time, I guess 5 years, now goes to the governor, Republican Governor Doug Burgum, who is expected to approve them. And so it wasn't that big of a lift, apparently. The Attorney General, Wayne Stedheim, I guess that's how you pronounce it, said people will really see how easy and quick this is. He estimates that, many of the, 175,000 marijuana convictions over several decades could be eligible for expungement. Wow. That would mean a lot to a lot of people. And, my position on this is it's great to make it legal, but you're still, punishing the people who did the very same thing when it was illegal are still being punished for something that is now legal. They should not be punished. Their records should be expunged, and the people who are serving for minor offenses, simple possession, they need to be pardoned and let out. Right. So good work, North Dakota. Now, the deadline for the first round of applications for pardons under this new policy was last summer, August 10th. The next round's deadline is going to be in mid-January. There are any number of folks up in North Dakota who are either in prison or serving or out, ex-convicts on marijuana convictions. You need to get in there before the deadline. So
I wonder how it works. Did these folks that are in prison, do they have to get a lawyer? And, because a lot of them can't afford a lawyer. Are there...
that I don't know.
Court, I just wonder. I'm sure it's not in the article.
Maybe Normal or marijuana, maybe Normal might have a program that if they don't have, probably could refer them to. I know Keith Stropp talked about that, saying there is a network of lawyers out there that are doing some pro bono work for marijuana for people who can't afford it, who are up under unfair marijuana charges.
You mentioned that when we had him on the show, right?
I really think that someone needs to go up there and make these 4 giant joints and glue them to the faces of Mount Rushmore.
Oh, yeah, man.
I like that. That's a good call.
And put some giant dreadlocks on George Washington.
You don't have to make them out of stone.
No, that would be that would be a little difficult.
Yeah,
and it would take a lot of weed to make an actual joint, but you could mock up something like paper mache.
Absolutely. I say we start something.
Yeah, I think it would be funny as shit. Go to VoteProPot.com on bottom of the homepage and check the link. There's a link to Normal right there, along with all kinds of other good information, marijuana policy project, the Cannabis Industry Association, a whole bunch of good stuff for you. You can find it right there at VoteProPot.com. So, Willie Nelson getting up there in age. Apparently, marijuana is no longer part of his health regimen.
Yeah. However, the 86-year-old musician and activist known for his outstanding and outspoken advocacy for the legalization of marijuana. Yeah. He's now announced that he quit smoking because he's just has having a lung problem, breathing problem. Apparently, he said he started off by smoking bark when he was a kid, and then went to cigarettes, and then started smoking weed. And he's been smoking. Apparently, he was a prolific smoker, and he smoked joints. He wasn't a vape guy, or wasn't an edible guy, wasn't dabbing or doing bong hits. He was just spleefs. He's just sucking on Lucky Strikes, man. Filterless. And,
I saw him the other night. He was on some award show. And he sang a song, and dude, he could barely breathe. He is not doing well. Oh, yeah. It's obvious.
That's a shame. What a wonderful country voice he's got.
His daughter sent us an email recently. We reached out to see if we could get Willie on the show, and his daughter wrote us back and said that he was canceling his tours, and that he was not doing any appearances at the moment. So Yeah.
Well, apparently over the years he smoked a lot, and Snoop Dogg apparently says Willie Nelson's the only guy that could out-smoke me.
That's saying a lot. That's a high bar right there.
That is a real high bar.
Damn.
And he was known for like he did I think he got Toby Keithstone one time, and then Toby went and wrote that song, "I'm never smoking weed with Willie again."
Oh, really? Yeah.
Right. It's like, for a tough guy, it sounds pretty whippy there, Toby.
Yeah. Well, all the best to Willie.
He's a pretty tough guy. I mean, that's his shtick.
Yeah.
Well, I think he smoked a lot of cigarettes in the day too. So
yeah, he did. But apparently he's still associated with his Willie's Reserve brand, and he. And I don't know, he doesn't say one way or the other, but I have a feeling he might be, maybe using a couple tinctures or edibles here and there, maybe a couple topicals.
A gummy here, a gummy there. I would think. All the best to you, Willie. Good luck.
Yep, all the best. Well, folks, thanks again for your time. That's all we ask of you, and we are appreciative to get it. And if you'd like to keep in touch with us, just check us out at VoteProPot.com. Send us a message. Give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts. Tell your friends about us. What else can they do, Jay?
Buy a mug. For God's sakes, buy a mug.
Oh, for the love of God, buy a mug.
We have mugs for sale, and the mugs just help us cover some of the costs. They don't even come close to what we actually spend. We don't have advertisers. So if you go online, go to VoteProPot.com. You can find a picture of a mug, click on it, buy one or two, and it helps us out.
Yeah, actually, I think we need to sell some mugs just to cover the cost of making mugs.
The mugs, yes.
So far, I think we've given away a lot more than we said.
Yeah. Well,
the whole mug thing's going to be a losing proposition.
I'm drinking a little bourbon out of one right now.
They're very nice mugs, though.
They are.
They are. Yeah, they're going to make great Christmas
stuffing
gifts.
stockers.
Yes. So much going on every week in the cannabis world that we can't even scratch the surface on our podcasts. Mm-hmm. We'd like to, but that would be a very long show, and we like to keep it short. So we share a lot of information on our social networking pages, especially LinkedIn and Facebook. So please check us out on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Instagram. Just do a search for VoteProPot.
Lock me up, find me good, label me a menace to your quiet neighborhood. I don't grow no plants, the state says I can't. That's not freedom, that's the point. Smoke a bowl, I roll a joint, do what I want, if I hurt nobody, that's the point. And if I want to get high, why shouldn't I? That's not freedom, that's the point. Decide what's best for you and me. Smoke a bowl or roll a joint. Do what you want, if it hurts nobody, that's the point. So let's get high, yeah, you and I. It's called freedom. It's called freedom. Oh yeah, that's the point.